Hey everyone, thanks for joining the webcast today. We're going to be building an UltraVNC package. If you have questions anytime during the webcast, you can ask them in the chat window, or you can email them to me at webcast@adminarsenal.com. We'll be giving away rockers and shot glasses for questions asked that are featured. Now we'll turn it over to Shane and Les.
Interesting. Oh, hey, I'm Shane.
And I'm Lex from Admin Arsenal.
Cheers. Oh.
Morning.
Yes, Jack in the morning, Jack at night.
Jack all the time.
Jack in the afternoons, all right. We're going to do
UltraVNC.
Yes. Now, Lex has built a package. It's in the package library for TightVNC.
It's a simple package because it's just mostly command line.
But with UltraVNC, there's some extra steps that we're going to have to nail down. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that now. So there's quite a few prerequisites here. And I believe that some of these links have been posted. You're going to want to go download the latest UltraVNC. Go and do that from UVNC.com. Notice they have a big notice here on their main page saying UltraVNC.com is not ours. It's UVNC.com. Go to downloads. We're going to be doing UltraVNC 1205.
Now, the thing to remember when you're downloading this, grab the exe file.
Yes.
We've had hit and miss with the MSI lately. So.
Yes, they just, in 1204, I believe, they introduced the MSIs. And generally, an MSI is a slam dunk. But I've just had a lot more success with the EXEs as opposed to the MSI. That's a good call. Thanks.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to do the add-ons, which you probably do, it's an additional package, these haven't changed for a while. In fact, if you scroll down on their download page, past their ads, you'll see that the add-ons haven't changed since 1196.
So Shane, what are in those add-ons, buddy?
These are really going to be for the drivers, if you want. Do we have any questions before we start out, Annalisa? If we want to pop those up before I take the deep dive. Can you install it, UltraVNC, with the mirror drive, Brett? Assuming you mean the mirror driver. And actually, yes, that's what the add-ons are for.
Yep.
Back in the day, about two years ago, before the add-ons executable, it was a very manual process. You could still do it, but it was a manual process on installing those. And by the way, we are going to only be showing this on 64-bit targets, just for the sake of time, because they do have 64-bit versions and 32-bit. So if you're going to be handling both in your environment, you're just going to want to kind of duplicate the 64-bit steps respective to 32-bit.
Yep.
So you've downloaded those, both the add-ons and of course, the main packages. I'm going to put these, and recommend you probably do the same thing, out on a network share, just for right now. Ours is in token deploy UltraVNC. So you see,
that's a great place to put that. Way to name it, Shane.
1205. Those are the two, the 64 and 32-bit. And then, of course, there's the add-ons. Now, why is this important? Why do you want to have these out there initially? Because you want to do a manual install first. We're going to go ahead and install just on this computer or console. We're going to install UltraVNC, but we're just going to do the viewer.
The viewer, yeah. Now, the difference between the viewer and the server, the viewer will allow you to actually go to the target machines that have got the server loaded on it so that you can actually view those machines.
It's a necessary but unfortunate naming system because server has so many people can note server with, oh, this is on my...
This goes on the...
This is a server application.
Yeah.
No, what you want on your targets is the server, and the package that we're going to be building is only for the server. You don't want to deploy, or maybe you do. I don't know why. You don't want to deploy the viewer to all of your targets. You don't want them to be remote controlling everybody else. So once again, this is just for our machine here. We're just going to do the viewer so that we can verify that what we do works and in fact it doesn't suck.
That's a pretty broad statement. It doesn't suck, huh?
We'll find out. And we'll associate that. Perfect. This is definitely going to be a full bottle of Jack day.
That's a good point. But it is early, so
we've got the viewer installed on this computer. This computer is called Guinness.
Yep.
Now I'm going to go out. I've got a remote desktop session. Forget the irony in the fact that we're building a remote control package on a machine that we've got remote desktop
running on. Yeah.
Oh, life is irony. So I'm going to go out to UltraVNC, and here's what you want to do. We've got to do a manual install on a target so we can create an answer file. We're going to use that answer file to make the other deployments silent. this differs from tight VNC because you could.
Once again, it was all command line. You can just launch the command line and
Correct.
there you go.
So on Newman, which happens to be a 64-bit machine, I'm going to run this guy. Oops, pardon me. Stop that. When he comes back up, I'm going to cancel that. You want to run this with a command line parameter. So I'm going to go to Start Run. I'm going to drag this down here. I'm going to drag this down here.
How about
How about if I hit Start Run on the right
on
machine?
the correct machine? There you go.
Give me that jack.
That's right.
Sorry, let me close that out. All right. What are the parameters? We're going to do a / save INF. It means this is expecting you to specify, or this is going to save all your answers. Save INF equals, and then the name of the file. So I'm just going to put this on the root of Newman here. And we'll just call this
UVNC.
And we'll do UVNC. It doesn't really matter what you call it. UVNC server.txt. Now, it doesn't have to be an INF file, even though it's called save INF. In fact, you may not want to. Just so you know, there's a lot of policies that organizations have to prevent deployment systems like SCCM or PDQ deploy from copying INF files because of the vulnerability. So don't say this is an INF necessarily. Text file.
Bad boy.
Say OK. And now you're just going to do a regular setup, but the one that you want. We're going to do English.
Basically, just taking most of the defaults at that point.
Except to this point. Now, we don't want the viewer. And yeah, we want the server, but we want the server silent. So choose that one. Once again, this is what's going to go out to your target. So there's the server silent. We will register UltraVNC as a system service, but we're not going to start the service. Why? Because there's actually some configurations that we're going to have to do afterwards.
Save some steps from stopping it. We'll just
Yeah, I think so. All right.
Well, it looks like we got that finished.
That's done. Now let's go out once again on Newman, and we're going to go to our C drive.
We're going to copy that out to the UNC path.
There's the server.txt. If you open that up, those are the answers right there. All we're going to do, the components are the UltraVNC server S, meaning it was the silent portion. And of course, the one task is the install service. So, and by the way, you don't have to do this both for 32 and 64. This same answer file will work for your 32-bit systems, just so you know. So where are we going to place this? We're going to go out to token again. Do I already have that? Going to go out to token on the UVNC.
And put it with the executable. Same directory. Makes it easier.
Yes. My goodness. Sorry, guys.
So we're going to be doing some basic remedial computing after this, huh, Shane? How to drag and drop?
Drag and drop is the next webcast.
There we go.
I might just turn this over to you. All right, so now we have our UVNC server.txt. But we're not done. We also want to do the add-ons. Where are those? We're going to come back over here to the add-ons. Do the same thing. We're going to start run. The reason we're doing start run is so that we can actually
Put parameters on
put a
it.
parameter. 64-bit in this case. And it's the same thing. We're going to do a save INF equals, and we'll just do something like we can just
UVNC add-on. How about that?
UVNC low. Yeah, UVNC dash add
There you go.
dot text. So that's just the add-ons. Sound good?
Sounds delightful. Again, basically rolling through up to this point, you take the defaults.
Now here's the important thing. Here's what I want you to remember. Remember those two values right there, W8 hook and W8 keys. You're going to have two different answer files if you're going to be deploying to Windows 8X targets. So this is a Windows 7, Newman's it's Windows 7, so we're going to say yes, we want the mirror driver. By the way, if you don't want the mirror driver, it's fine, you don't have to do the add-ons, you're just going to notice some degradation in your remote control sessions. So we're going to choose these three since this is a Windows 7.
So Shane, we can't do that in the same add-on file?
Nope, we're going to have two different add-on
Okay,
files.
good enough.
One for 8 and one for everything else.
Everything else, okay.
When I say 8, I also mean the other. Now notice, yeah, we're gonna install this driver. You don't want this popping up on your targets, so we're gonna have to take a couple of steps to remedy that.
I'm going to start humming Jeopardy. Oh, you guys lucked out. Finished already.
All right. Now we have our UVNC add. Going to move that to the add-ons directory that we have on our file share. Perfect.
Hey, you mastered the drag and drop. Nicely done.
Class is over. All right. So we've got our answer files for both the installs of add-ons and, of course, the main server piece. But you saw the need to install the driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, what you need to do is we have to use a utility called certmgr.exe. And this is if you want to use the driver. This will allow you to install the driver silently. The certmgr.exe is available from Microsoft. It's in the Windows 7 SDK, probably in the Windows 8. I'm just looking at the Windows 7 right now. There should be a link. JJ, was there a link that was posted out there?
I think that was
posted to the YouTube description. Right
YouTube
below.
description?
So.
Okay.
All right, good deal. Good deal. When you download the Windows 7 SDK, in fact, when you download that, I've already downloaded it from Microsoft. It should be here. No, maybe not. Oh, that's in Newman.
You're in Newman.
Once again, I'm having a tough time here. When you download that, in our downloads, I've got it. When you run this, if you don't want to install the entire thing, by the way, you just want to get a Cert Manager, I'll show you this change. All you've got to do is install the tools, if you can see that. And under the Windows Native Code Development, you don't need to install anything else, just the tools. But it is important that we get our hands on Cert Manager. So once again, I've already installed that for the sake of time. So where is that? I'm gonna go to. I'm just gonna open a new directory here and go to under C program files. You're gonna find under Microsoft SDKs, Windows. You're gonna find a bin directory. There is Cert Manager. Now you're gonna want to actually have two of them if you've got 32-bit and 64-bit targets. You're going to want to do two of them. So I'm going to copy certmgr.exe just for right now out here to my desktop. Just going to copy it. And I'm going to rename this certmanager 32. And then in the x64 directory of that bin folder, you're going to find another cert manager. I'm going to copy that right out here to
desktop.
And I'm going to call that one cert manager.
Let me guess, 64.
Nothing gets by legs.
You're so predictable, man. So predictable.
That GED is serving you well.
I didn't get a GED.
Oh yeah, you're striving that. That's on your bucket
Goals,
list.
yes, goals.
Awesome.
Everybody should have goals.
So you've got your cert managers now. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to go out to our file share, 1205. And actually, I'm going to put it in the add-ons. Cert Manager 32, Cert Manager 64. Obviously, since we're going to have these in the same directory, that's why we couldn't have them both called certmanager.exe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and pop a question out.
Can UltraVNC support remote access via vPro? Yuri.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know. Sorry, Yuri R.
You'd have to Google that one, buddy.
Yeah, and keep in mind, what we're going to be talking about here, yes, we're talking about how you can create a silent deployment of UltraVNC. There's going to be some modification of the VNC properties, but we are not experts in VNC. So there are some VNC questions that you're just going to need to ask elsewhere. I apologize.
Boy, that sounded almost like a legal disclaimer, Shane. Well done.
Now, boy, you thought we were done with this manual stuff. We haven't even opened up, really. We haven't even started the package yet.
Yeah.
Now you've got to get those drivers. So what we're going to do, and you're going to need to do this once for 64 and once for 32. We're going to go back to Newman, because we've installed that driver on Newman, right? And let me see here. On Newman, I'm going to want to go to the, actually, I'm going to go to program files. UVNC BVBA, that is the directory for UltraVNC. And then there's the UltraVNC subdirectory. Under the driver, and then driver again, there's the mv2.cat file. You're going to want to right-click on that and say Properties. All right.
You've done that well. Well, now what do we do?
Go to Digital Signatures.
Digital signatures, excellent.
Sorry, and then you're going to highlight the driver. It's the UVNC BVBA. And you want to go to Details. Hey, here's our details. Now we want to view the certificate. Perfect. There we go. Now we want to go to Details again. And we're going to copy the file. And you want to use the DER encoded, the default, the DER encoded binary. And we'll browse. Let's put this out on our file share.
Yeah, let's put it back with everything else, the add-ons and UltraVNC, just to keep it all in one place.
Correct. Correct. That sounds great. We will call this one, how about if we just do UVNC X64. So this is the 64. So you'd like to do UVNC X86 or something like that. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but UVNC X64 is what we're going to call this one. Actually, I think I probably want that in the add-ons. Yep, UVNC 64.
Well played, sir.
And it creates the CER file. Say Finish, Export Successful, yada, yada, yada.
Yada.
And now if you go out to add-ons, you'll see there is that certificate, all right? And once again, you'll have to do the same thing on a 32-bit machine, follow those same steps to extract the certificate.
Now, I will say this, the nice thing is this is being recorded, and we should be posting this out so you can push pause and work through this. So I can just imagine someone feverishly trying to keep up with you, man.
And the certificate, obviously, this is so that we can make the silent install of that driver.
Yep.
We got a question. Go ahead.
Can I use PDQ tools to VNC to a Mac? I see that cannot.
I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. The answer is no. Unfortunately, we don't recognize any Mac computers.
Yep.
So, while you may be able to use a VNC to open up the VNC viewer and then select a Mac, you wouldn't be able to do it from like PDQ inventory, which we'll walk through here in a second. But no, sorry. All right, boy, these steps are just going through it. So we've copied that certification. Now I think we're ready for actually building the package.
Get all the pieces.
Correct. So I'm going to actually log out of Newman. Now we're going to go here. Let's go to our custom, do a new package. We'll call this UltraVNC. And yeah, it's 1205. Let me make that a little smaller. There.
Smaller, a little easier to manage.
Yeah. That a little better, JJ? All right. Now, the first thing we want to do, in case you are actually trying to upgrade previous targets that have an older version of UVNC, we don't want to just start off with the installation.
You can't install on something that's already running. So let's shut it down. Shut down an instance of UVNC. Now, again, we're going to use command line to do this. Something you need to know is with that, if it's not running on there, you need to make sure your conditions and your options allow for an error so that it can move on.
Correct. So we're going to actually, there's obviously two ways, minus the sysinternals tools, there's two ways to stop and start a service. SC and net. I'm going to use net stop. I like net in this case because net waits, it doesn't return control until the service is either stopped or timed out. So we're going to do a net stop. The service is called UVNC_service. And Lex did call this out. You're going to want to modify your success codes. Yeah, if that service exists and it stops, it's going to give you a return code of 0. But if that doesn't exist, it's going to return a code of 2. We want 2 to mean, yeah, it's successful. And
again, those return codes are by vendor, by product. So we did look that up.
The options in this case, we're going to change this, however, to continue. So even if it gives a return code of something besides 0 or 2, still move on. Don't stop right there. Then we're going to do another step. This is also a command step, and this one is going to be deleting the actual UVNC service.
Basically, it allows us to, have a clean install.
Yeah, this is just kind of what UltraVNC requires. So this one we're going to use SC delete, and it's UVNC underscore service, I believe. And the success codes that we want there are, I think it's 1060. Is that
Yeah,
right?
1060, yeah.
All right, 0 and 1060. But once again, options, error mode is
Continue.
continue. Am I going too fast, JJ? Sorry. So we're stopping. We're then deleting. Now, guess what? Now we're ready to install in our install step, our default install step. And we will go out to, this is our token deploy. We're going to go to 1205, choose a 64-bit. So since we're doing the 64-bit, what do we need to do?
You need to set our conditions so our architecture only installs in 64-bit.
Correct. 64-bit. By the way, if you are going to do this on XP, don't. If you do, if you do the driver installation, you're still going to be on XP. You're still going to be presented with a request by the end user to actually approve something, and it's going to be hidden, so it's most likely going to hang. So what we're talking about is from Windows Vista onward. You can even come and change that if you want by just saying no XP, no 2003. Perfect. So there we go. But the parameters. Now we did a save INF to create that file. Now we're actually going to do it's a very silent is the first parameter. You want to make this very, very silent. And then we're going to do a load INF instead of save, and that is what? That's going to be the INF that we created, which is UVNC-server, is that right? .text.
TXT, yeah.
Now we're going to include the entire directory, so that does include that text file.
When doing that, that's going to actually drop that UVNC server text right where it's running, so you don't have to traverse any path at this point.
That's why we don't put a path in there, because it's right there. It's going to be right in the same directory as your setup.exe. Perfect. Now, now we get to add the certificate, which is another command step.
Okay.
Sound good? Now, and once again, if you're going to use 32-bit, you're going to have two steps here. Install certificate. All right. So what are the command lines? What are the command lines for installing the certificate? Well, first of all, we're going to use one of our cert managers, right? So it's certmanager64.exe. Then we're going to add a driver. And I believe it's /C/S and /R. And local machine, and I believe the local machine is case sensitive.
I think it is, but I think what you forgot here is you need to add the name of the cert, right there after the add.
Thank you.
I'm here to help.
And what was the name of that cert, do you call? We
Uh,
always have a cheat sheet here. The name of the cert is this one right there. Thank you.
Excellent.
Alex. Yeah, so we're going to add what? We're going to add that certificate. /CSR, I believe. Local machine, I believe that is case sensitive. And we're going to say, go to trusted publisher. And then we're going to run a second command. I'm going to copy that. And this one's just going to go to root. Perfect.
Any success codes or anything else we need to know?
Not in this case, I don't think.
We need to add an additional file.
Yeah, we're going to add. Notice I clicked the add files.
Oh, is that what you did? Apparently I should pay attention while you're working, huh?
And we're going to add that certificate. But we also have to add certmanager64.
Okay, so we're going to add multiple files.
Because
Okay.
we're expecting certmanager64. It's not going to live on the target by default. So we're going to push this out to the working directory. And it's also going to look for this file. So those two files will be copied down to the working directory, and those two commands will run.
On a side note, when it's done, is it going to get rid of that cert manager?
Oh, yes. All files in the staging directory will get deleted at the end of the deployment.
Okay, just so you all know.
We are going to change this one also to continue.
Now,
So
we probably
notice the install VNC, we didn't. We're going to fail. If this one fails, we're just going to say stop the package, stop the deployment right there.
Now, since this is a 64-bit, we need to make sure we put conditions on every step.
Well, every step that is, there are some. they're going to have to go and add the 32-bit, but you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got it 64-bit here. The stop stuff, you don't need it.
It doesn't matter.
That's 32.
Yeah.
That's good. This is appropriate for both. All right. So we've installed the certificate. Once again, you're going to do the same thing for the 32-bit. But for that step, make sure the condition is set appropriately and that you're adding the cert 32 and the appropriate certificate for that. All right. Now we're ready for the add-ons. That's going to be another install step. And like Alex had mentioned, this is a 64-bit. You can call this stuff whatever you want. I just like to do it for organizational purposes. Now we're going to leave the 1205. We're going to go to add-ons, and we're going to say x64. Sound good? Once again, the same parameters. It's going to be very silent. And then load INF equals, and it was, I believe, UVNC-add.text for the add-ons. And then we are going to include the entire directory so that we can include that. Yeah, you could go add files and then add that one file, but it's 3 megabytes. It's all fine.
Bring it on.
Very silent, load INF. That should be good. And we changed that to 64-bit. No, we didn't. Let's change that. And we're going to go ahead and say continue on this one as well. So save that in case something dies. Save your work so far. All right, now now comes the Windows 8 conundrum. The add-ons executable provided by UltraVNC, if you install it, even if you install it manually on a target, on a Windows 8 X target, it's going to fail because it needs some files. So we're going to go back out. Actually, I guess I shouldn't have killed Newman quite yet. I got Newman here. Going to go to remote desktop on Newman.
I was noticing Newman is a Windows 7 machine. Is that going to matter with the Windows 8 stuff?
No, because the drivers are the same for Windows 8 and for that's a good question, and for Windows 7. So where are those files? We're going to go back out to program files, UVNC BVBA, UltraVNC driver. This is the directory that we want. So we're just going to actually minimize or bring that down. We're going to open up our deploy, go to UltraVNC add-ons.
Drag that whole directory up there.
Close.
Oh.
I would recommend that you create something like, once again, if you're going to do both 32 and 64, something like 64, and then 32 because the drivers are different between the two. So we're going to go to 64, and then we're just going to copy the entire driver directory so that when you open that up, there's those files and then the actual driver files. All right. We follow on, everybody? This is on the same directory as in the same directory as our add-ons. All right?
Okay.
Okay. And we'll log out. Hopefully that should be enough for Newman right now.
For Newman.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to do a file copy. Now, we're doing this on deploy 6. There's a new file copy step that we're going to use. If you don't have deploy 6, you're going to want to use a command step and use something like xcopy or robocopy or something to that effect.
Here's a good plug for you to update or upgrade.
Yeah. New step, file copy. In this case, we're going to copy drivers for Windows 8. And this is the 64-bit, right? Okay. So first of all, we'll just change that to 64-bit. And the versions, we're going to change this to lose everything and go to Windows 8. Also 2012, 2012 R2, if that's what you want to do, because effectively they're the same. Which reminds me, on the add-ons up here, remove Windows 8 and 2012 from the regular add-ons installation. All right?
That could be kind of a gotcha.
Yeah, it could be gotcha. So once again, this is add-ons, but not for the Windows 8. We're going to copy those drivers, 64-bit, to those OSs. We're going to do a folder. Well, which folder, you ask? Glad you asked. We're going to go out to our path, which is token deploy, in this case, UltraVNC add-ons. We're going to go into 64, and we're going to select driver. I believe that would work. Yeah, sorry guys, I know this is going to go a little long.
A lot of moving parts on this one.
There really are. There really are. Sorry about that, guys. Now, where do we want to place this? We want to place this in the program files directory. And just a heads up on the file copy step, don't do program files variable.
What is that?
Well, if you do program files variable on a 64-bit, the actual deployment runner is a 32-bit process, and so it will actually go to program files x86.
Oh, really? Okay, good to know.
So go to C, program files. It's a UVNC. We're placing this in the in the actual application directory. I think it's BVBA. Want to make sure about that. UVNC BVBA, UltraVNC. All right, there we go. Go back here. So yeah, UVNC BVBA and then UltraVNC. And then we're going to create the directory driver. So it's going to copy all of those files there. Once again, only on target or only on 64-bit machines. We are going to overwrite. We're just going to select all of these. We want to copy all the files, all the subdirectories. We're just going to ignore any overwrite errors and overwrite the existing files. Sound good? Perfect.
Love it. That sounds good, yeah.
Now we're going to actually, I'm going to duplicate this guy. I'm going to duplicate the install add-ons and move on down. But I'm going to call this one install add-ons for Win8. And this reminds me, I'm going to go back to, because of because of the fact that we need a different answer file for Windows 8, we're going to go back to add-ons. You see there's the UVNC add, once again, those guys. We're going to copy this and paste it and call this UVNC add-win8. And it's going to be win8 W8 hook, I believe, and W8 keys. Boy, I hope that's right.
That was from that driver install file earlier.
Yes, yes, and I believe those
parameters we didn't select last time.
W8 hook. We'll find out if it fails. W8 hook and W8 keys. So we're going to install all the components, but this is only for Windows 8.
Should we bet on that?
No.
Dude, I love betting with you.
So there's the add-ons. Change that to add-win8. Is that right? And yep, there's the entire directory. Save it. Let's make sure that that did it as we expect. Yeah, UVNC add win8. Let me just do a full here. Make sure we're not smoking crack.
Oh, there's a space in there.
Oh, is there?
Yep. Oh, no, that you just copied it, and the file name had a space in it.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move that. Thank you. I suck. So I'm going to go back and change that, make sure there's not a space,
No space in there, yeah. Right there after add.
Perfect. Thanks. Perfect. And add-ons, there we go. So we got the add-ons, installing that, including the directory, and then there's Win8. Perfect.
No additional error codes or anything like that on that step?
I don't believe so. I mean, it takes the default 1641-3010. Now after this, we've installed it on our targets. Now we want to stop that
user
service.
let us know that it's W8 hooks.
Somebody, thank you. Somebody let us know it's W8 hooks. Thank you.
Just saved us, didn't you?
Yeah, you saved us some pain. So I'm going to go back in here and change it to W8 hooks. Thank you, whoever said that. Annalisa, please make sure
Send them
they get a
something
tumbler.
fun.
All right. Now we've installed it. We want to do just a few more housekeeping things. We're going to create a new step. This one's going to be.
I do have one more question on step 7.
Mm-hmm.
If that fails, do we want to continue?
Oh, good call. Yeah.
Oh, we got it. All right.
Yeah, because we duplicated it, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, good.
All right, so for step 8, now we're going to stop. I'm going to actually just copy this. Do a Control-C. We're going to stop the UVNC service again, just in case it starts. Sometimes it does restart. We want to stop this because I'm going to go back to Newman one more time. And now this is where you customize. This is where you customize for yourself how you want UVNC to run in your environment. So what are you going to do? Remember, Newman is where we installed UVNC the first time manually. You're going to go to Start, UltraVNC. We're going to Edit Settings. And we're not going to go through all of these settings, but this is massively important if you actually want this to work. You're going to come through here and you're going to set this the way you want it to be. So we're going to change the password for the VNC. Let's make sure I got that right. And then other things, if you want to disable viewer inputs, et cetera, those are pretty much what we're going to change. Now, once again, this is on that computer that we installed everything on. You're going to find an UltraVNC INI file. There it is. This is what you want copied out
in that same UNC directory, so you can pass that out with all your installs.
Correct. We're going to put it in 1205. There we go. Then what are we going to do? We're going to copy
that file out to the location on the target.
Let's log off again.
You're getting good at that.
Yeah. Go back to our package. And now we're going to create a new file copy step. And this one, we are simply going to say...
Need a single file.
Copy the UltraVNC. As Lex mentioned, a single file. We're going to overwrite. And where do you want this? Same place. C, program files,
UVNC, BVBA.
Thanks, man. UltraVNC. I think that'll work. Get a drink of Monster. All right, so we're going to copy that out there. This can go to both, 32, 64, et cetera. We're still going to set that to continue. And then the last step.
Start service.
Thought this was going to go on forever, didn't you? Yeah, we're going to start the service. Actually, we could, start service. And then you can use NetStart. You can also use SC if you want. SC won't wait for it, so I like that. SC start UVNC _ service. And for that one, I believe it's 2 and 1056. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
What 1056 will mean is if it's already starting, if it's already started or in the process of starting, it's okay.
You also need 1060 there.
1060 is for net.
Oh, for net. Okay. All right. Well,
it's all good.
I love it.
Actually, 1060 1060 means that the service doesn't exist, which is a problem. All right, we're going to say continue. So those are the steps right there. You're going to hit rewind, I'm pretty sure, once this is uploaded, but there you go.
Probably a good time to hit the save button, too.
Now let's go ahead and deploy and see how badly we die. So I've got this working collection. Notice I've got UltraVNC. We've got one computer that has UltraVNC. These three do not. So we're going to deploy Dunmire's 8.1 and Mackie is 7. Newman should. If I hit scan on Newman, then Newman's going to show up in UltraVNC.
Okay.
But anyway, so let's go ahead and deploy.
I'm betting cocktail that it doesn't work.
Why are you here?
Because I'm good at pouring you cocktails because you're right all the time. I don't know.
So we're going to do Mackie and Dunmire.
Dunmire, yeah.
All right. Those are the two. So once again, we got a Windows 7 and a Windows 8. Let's find out how bad this works.
Okay. Here's to it working.
Cheers. And of course, you can always, I like this, you can always just click on, I'm going to click on this, JJ, so it's going to expand out. You can click on that link just to kind of see the status. Yep, there's 1060, which means that service didn't exist, but it's still a success. Why is it a success?
So we said move right along, and 1060 was on a successful error code.
Correct. Now we're installing UVNC. That was the error code 0. It worked. If you look at the install certs, looks like it succeeded anyway, at least on the Windows 7. Installing the add-ons. Step did not run on Windows 8 because this is a Windows 7 machine. And you can look at the same thing over here on Dunmire, and you should see that copied the drivers for Windows 8. Ooh, it looks like that failed. Did that fail? Nope, new file. That's good.
Excellent.
That's Robocopy. Robocopy 1 is a success. Nope. All right, start service. Now, yes, you can, since you installed
The viewer here.
you could go to Program Files, UltraVNC, run the viewer and do it. But we're going to actually just go into Inventory.
Make a tool out of it.
But we've already got this in Preferences. Now, if you have we're looking at Inventory, the new Inventory 6 beta, and the VNC stuff is set in Network. If you're in Pre-6, if you're back in 5 or 4, it's going to be in Preferences VNC. But here under, is it Network? No, it's Remote Control. I apologize.
Yeah.
Under Remote Control, notice we've got our viewer file is set to the VNC viewer in Program Files, UVNC, BB, da-da-da-da. So now I'm going to go to Mackie. Oh, by the way, let's look at UltraVNC. Sure enough, they are there. We're going to go to Mackie, go to Tools and say VNC. The password, as long as I type it in correctly. Voila. There's that one. Let's go see if it died on Dunmire. No, not remote, desktop. Control-Alt-V is the
VNC.
And there we go. There is our Windows 8. So.
Cocktails on me. Nicely done, Shane.
Wow, there you go. Are there any more questions, you guys? All right. Yeah, this is a long.
This is a long one.
This is a long one. Sorry.
Hopefully, you had some coffee or something. Keep you up. Keep you
This
going
is
during
not.
this.
This is not in the package library, so feel free to go through, rewind. If you have any questions, let us know. And once again, if you do this on XP, you're going to have to use.
Don't do it on XP.
You're going to have to use a utility called DevCon.
Yeah.
Most likely, it's available from Microsoft. If you use Vista or higher, you can avoid having to use DevCon. So, I'm Shane.
I'm Lex. Thanks for watching, guys.
Rock on.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining the webcast today. If your question was featured, please email me at webcast@adminarsenal.com. If you had a question that we didn't get to, you can also email me there, or you can visit our support forum, support.adminarsenal.com. We'll see you guys next week.